This. All right, we're now live. We're in Algebra 1, Lesson 3-5. Today's date is Wednesday, October 14th, 10/14, 2020. It's always fun to announce the date, but like the year, because you can look back at this video like 5 years from now and be like, I remember when I was in high school, I did this lesson. Objective, who wants to read it? Ripley, go. Find the x and y intercepts from the graph. There it is, graphs and equations. All right, so let's define what that is. What is an x-intercept? What is a y-intercept? So an x-intercept is where the function crosses the, well, it's either the x or the y-axis. Those are the only two axes we have. Diego? The y-axis. It is indeed where it crosses the y-axis. So they kind of like flip-flop. They switch, right? So the x-intercept crosses the y-axis, and therefore the y-intercept crosses the what? Oh, we should be raising our hand, but yes, it is indeed the x-axis. All right, so let's try to do this one. Example number one, I mean, you have it in your notes, so I don't have to zoom in, but there it is. Determine the intercepts of the line. So the x-intercept, it's where it crosses the y-axis, and our y-axis is the one that runs up and down vertically. So where does it cross? One person has the answer. These are nice, easy. Yesenia? On the 2, yes. So my question for everyone now is, where do I put that 2? I mean, I have to have a pair of points. Do I put the 2 there? Do I put the 2 there? Which place do I put the 2? Katie? On the y. On the y, exactly, because that is the y coordinate. So on the y, we say that's the 2. So not the x. Well, what do we do for the x? What coordinate goes right here? Jose? 0. Why? Yeah, it's the 0 position of the x. I mean, if you look at this, this is the x. I have 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. 0 is the coordinate of that point. So if another way of saying this is, if I were to draw a point right here on that y, or sorry, that, wait, this is the y-intercept, isn't it? Yeah. So that is a mistake, but it should be, we think we're doing this one, sorry, 0, 2. This point right here has the coordinates 0 left and right, so 0, 2. That point is the same as the y-intercept. So sorry about that, guys. I should have caught that. Therefore, the x-intercept is what? Ripley, you've been waiting so patiently. Go for it. Negative 5, 0. Yeah, and that's a good thing to take away. When I have a quiz or a test, like especially for the test that's on paper, remember that when I'm asking for an x or y intercept, I'm asking for a point, a pair of coordinates, x and y. Don't just tell me the x-intercept is negative 5, because you're half right. You're not, and that's an f, right? 50% is an f. In order to get the full correct answer, that's 100%. You have to have 2 pairs of points, or 2 pairs of numbers. All right, so generally speaking, our rule looks like this. One of these, one of these numbers is always going to be a certain number. So over and over again, and I'll move Ashley out of the way. Over and over again, notice that one of these numbers is always going to be the same. It's always going to be 0. But what's always going to be 0? So for the x-intercept, which of these is always 0? Is it the x is always 0, or is it the y that's always 0? Diego? The y. The y is always 0. So that means that this coordinate right here is always 0. And I can say the y is always 0. And then for the x, I guess you can just say that's going to be some number, or you can leave it like an empty box. Some number goes there, any number. And just making sure that Ashley's knowing what we're doing. We're on 3-5. And I'll post this video after class in case you want to catch the beginning of it. For the y-intercept, it's going to be what, comma, what? Jose? 0, number. 0, comma, number, exactly. Which means what is always 0, Jose? X. Yeah, x is always 0. And this is, it might seem trivial, but this is going to come back to maybe haunt us in a later unit. Especially tomorrow, we're going to be using these definitions of x and y intercepts in a table, which it will be a little bit harder. So if you think that this is too easy, I promise you it will get a little bit harder. Example number 2, determine the intercepts of the line. So now I'm giving you an equation, not a graph. just these numbers here in this equation. How do I go about trying to find these? I see one person has an idea how to start. Does anyone else have an idea? How would I go about trying to find the x-intercept of this mega equation? I mean, that's a lot of numbers that's happening right now. 2 people have an idea. 3 people have an idea. 4 people have an idea. Yesenia, go for it.
Like solve it.
What do you mean by solve it? Oh, okay. I mean, you're kind of there. It depends on how you solve it, though. Do you want to call on someone else? Get x and y on the same side. Okay, we can do that. Yeah. So, which side do you want to go on?
Let's go minus 4x.
Minus 4x on both sides. So minus 4x, minus 4x. So I have now, those are gone. I have 1 is equal to negative 2y plus 6 minus 4x. Okay, now the x's and y's are on the same side. So minus 1 on both sides.
Yeah.
Minus 1, minus 1. And when I do that, I get 0 now is equal to negative 2y plus 5 minus 4x. All right. You mean add 2y on both sides?
Yes.
Okay. So if we add 2y on both sides, add 2y on both sides, now I have 2y on the left is equal to 5 minus 4x. Yeah, and you can see that you're probably going to keep running in circles here until we try something new.
What if you just solve on each side? Like 4x plus 1, and then 2 negative 2y plus 6.
What do you mean by solve? What do you want to do?
So 4x plus 1 would be 5x.
Not quite. Yeah, so you can't add them because they're not like terms. So there's nothing you can do to the 4x plus 1. But good idea. And I'm hoping that everyone kind of sees too that, yeah, we're getting stuck in this cycle. So we have to use some sort of definition that I just wrote up here to help us out with our problem solving. Yeah, Jose?
Maybe just like zeros on both sides.
Put zeros on both sides? What do you mean by that?
Like 0,
0, 0. Well, remember, we don't do 0, 0 because not both of these numbers aren't 0. Just one of the numbers is 0, right? So maybe we should pick one to be 0. Which should we pick that x to be 0, or do you want to choose that y to be 0?
Oh, I see. Oh. Okay, on the x-intercept.
Okay.
It's blank, comma 0.
Blank, comma 0, exactly.
Okay, and now you have to multiply y by 0.
Multiply y by 0. Oh, you mean substitute a 0 in for y?
Yes.
Okay, so this y is now turned into 0. Let's go ahead and write it down. So this is now 4x plus 1 is equal to negative 2, not y anymore. This is substituted for a 0 plus 6. What would you do next, Jose?
I will subtract 1 from both sides.
Okay, so minus 1, minus 1. There's a bunch of math happening over here on the right-hand side. I hope that you can help us simplify. So I just have a 4x left over. And 2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 6 is 6. 6 minus 1, 5. So I have 4x is equal to 5.
And there you go. You divide by 4 on both sides.
Divide by 4, and x is equal to 5 fourths. What does that mean? Well, I know, yeah, it's 1.25, but what did we just find? And this is not just for Jose. I've been picking on him too much. Anyone, what did we just find? What does x equals 5 fourths mean? Giorgio?
That's the slope.
Not quite. Or again, slope is the change in y over the change of x. This is just x by itself. A good guess. Ripley?
X is 5 fourths.
The x is 5 fourths of what? The intercept, yeah. This is the intercept that we just found. If I come over here to the x-intercept, when you plug in 0, you get out x, which should go right here of 5/4, which means our intercept, as Ripley said, is 5/4 comma 0. We have now found one of the intercepts by plugging in 0. Jose plugged in the 0, boiled down the math, and Ripley did the analysis. That is the x-intercept. Yeah, Zeke.
Wouldn't it also be 1.25, 0?
Yeah, I mean, fraction form, decimal form, whatever you'd like. One thing I don't particularly like is mixed fractions. So if you want to say 1 1/4, you're right, but it's not as useful. It's really useful if you're baking, but not so much when we're doing algebra. All right, well, okay, we've done half of this problem, right? We've done the x-intercept, but how do we do the y-intercept? One person has an idea, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. What are we going to do here? Only 4 people know how to proceed with the y-intercept. It's going to be almost the same thing. What did Jose do? Try to remember back. Yeah, Alden. Replace the x with 0 instead of the y. Do you want to go ahead and do the first substitution for us?
Okay. So 4 and then like 0 times 4 times 0 plus 1 equals
Rest of it, yeah, negative 2y plus 6. Yeah, and there's our substitution. Did you want to boil it down or do you want to give it to someone else?
I can start.
Yeah, go for it.
Times 0 is 0.
Yes. And then plus 1 is 0 plus 1.
Oh, 1.
1, yeah. So that left-hand side is just 1. 1 is equal to negative 2y plus 6. All right. What do I do next? What's our next steps? We're trying to solve, keep boiling this down. Ripley's ready to go. I'll see how many other people are ready to go. Who have I not heard from yet today? I think I heard from almost everyone except for Braden. Go ahead and solve this one. So right now we're trying to solve for y. So we're trying to move everything to the other side and get y by itself. Almost. So we have to, the 2 right now is being multiplied. If we do the reverse order of operations, we want to get rid of addition and subtraction and then get rid of this multiplication. This is negative 2 times y. So first let's get rid of the 6 on both sides. There it is. And what do I have for our new equation then? What's 1 minus 6? Close. Negative 5, yeah. Equal to negative 2y. And then what's the last step, Braden? So close. Again, you're dividing by the thing that's in front of the y. We're trying to get the y by itself. Negative 2, yeah. Negative 2. And there we get our answer. Those negatives and 2's are gone. Y is equal to negative 5 divided by negative 2. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. So it's 5/2. And I come back over here and say that the y-intercept is 0, 5/2. And I will point out the reason that I made my example have fractions is because Khan Academy, your homework assignment, has lots of fractions also. So the number might not just be 2 or 5. It might not be a whole number. It might be a fraction. That's okay. All right. We have one more problem. Let's go to the back. And I should probably do a quick check too. Fist of 5, how well could you follow example number 2? I'm seeing 4s and 5s, 3, 4s. Okay. I hope Ashley's okay.
Mr. Sindel,
Yeah.
there's 2 example 2s.
Oh my gosh, there are. You get the extra credit. And if anyone else caught it before Ashley said it, you can also give yourself some extra credit. In your extra credit tracker, that is a teacher mistake. That needs to be example number 3.
I'm still asleep.
Yeah, good catch, good catch. That should be example number 3, Mr. Sindel. All right. So same type of problem. I'll let you guys try to solve this for a few minutes, and then we'll come back as a class to make sure you know what you're doing. So good luck. Go ahead and try to solve this. I'll be back. It's 8:22 or 8:23 right now. We'll come back at 8:25. I'll give you guys 2 minutes. Go for it, Ashley.
So because it's the x-intercept, it's gonna be the 0 at the second.
For the y coordinate, yep.
And then it's gonna be 2x minus 3 in parentheses 0 equals 12. And then minus 2x on both sides.
Actually, you don't have to subtract the 2x because what's eventually happening here is 3 times 0 is just 0. So if you just want to simplify the left-hand side without adding or subtracting to both sides, what does the left-hand side simplify to?
-1.
Not quite. So again, what's 3 times 0?
0.
0. And then what's 2x minus 0?
2.
Close. It's just 2x. Like if I had 3x minus 0, it's the same thing as 3x. So I can just say the left-hand side is just the 2x because that basically went away.
And then he would divide 2 by on both sides.
Perfect. And then x is therefore equal to?
6.
There it is. Thank you. And then can I get another volunteer? I know that you guys are all starting to work on Khan Academy. Just one last volunteer to do the y-intercept whole process. I'll give it to Zeke this time. All right, and that's only half the answer, right? So what is the full answer? Go for it, Zeke. Yeah. 0, -4. There it is. Cool. Can everyone? I know that you're doing the homework already. Can everyone give me a fist of 5 on today's entire lesson? Again, the objective that you're giving me a fist of 5 for is how well can you find x and y intercepts from both graphs and equations? 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 3, 4. Haiti, where you at? 4. Okay. Ashley, is that a 4? All right. And Carlos, ¿cuántos dedos están or tienes? Okay, 3. Okay. Thank you, guys. Let's go ahead and stop recording.